Some of the stuff I don't always agree with, but ain't nobody got to agree with everything I say. But let me clear the air on something.
Please.
You can't hire Steve Harvey for $10,000 to do nothing.
Hey.
Let me just A that out the way. I don't know where you got that number from, but you can't offer Steve Harvey $10,000 to do nothing.
I told you this was heating up. So apparently now Steve Harvey has responded to Dr. Umar in reference to taking money from the Democratic Party to push a certain message. Steve has recognized the hierarchy in this discussion. Let's take a listen to what he said.
Umar specifically called you out, Steve. He called out Ricky Smiley. He claimed that both of you were paid to support Kamala Harris's campaign. Here's what he said.
But if we're going to be honest, Steve Harvey and Ricky Smiley, and I love you both, no hate to my big brothers, but if we're going to be honest, Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey, y'all only carried on.
I mean, despite the accusation, he definitely was respectful to them, and I think that is what elicits this response from Steve Harvey.
Because y'all got paid to carry on. Can we please be honest? Can we see? I want y'all to understand, overstand, and understand what King Kong is talking about. Y'all carried on because y'all got paid to carry on. Kamala Harris and the Democratic plantation is paying you celebrities, paying you to shame black people into voting. Y'all know we not going to get nothing out of that vote. Y'all know we not going to get nothing out of that vote. Y'all know we not going to get nothing out of the vote, but they being paid, y'all being bought. They offered me $10K for an interview with Kamala Harris. I don't want your money, but we can definitely do the interview.
Steve.
Well, first of all, we're going to have her on her again, or how many other times is needed to get her into office.
To get the vote.
Brother Umar, let me say this, man. I absolutely love some of the things you say. I really, really do, man. Some of the stuff I don't always agree with, but ain't nobody got to agree with everything I say. But let me clear the air on something.
Please.
You can't hire Steve Harvey for $10,000 to do nothing.
Hey.
Let me just A that out the way. I don't know where you got that number from, but you can't offer Steve Harvey $10,000 to do nothing.
Now, to be fair, Umar said in the first video, and this is all alleged, like I said before in the previous video, he was offered $10,000. He's not saying you were offered $10,000, Steve Harvey. Yes, that would be ridiculous. Just like going back to the Marlon Wayans and Vlad conversation, like $10,000 for a millionaire is not enough to get them to move. But there could have been something, maybe some kind of in-kind favor or something. I don't want to theorize too much. That you were, or maybe just entree into the White House when and if Kamala was elected. Having a relationship with the president. You see, there's also many different ways to slice this. And I think what he's saying in essence is that by being in the bag for Kamala, you might be compromised. That's all.
No, you can go through the industry and ask about me. Let me tell you something. Omar, let me tell you something, man. And there ain't no hate here at all, because I like some of the work he does. I really do. Yeah. Listen, man, I don't.
He said
I don't do nothing, nothing for $10,000. Don't even insult. Don't insult the brand equity that I've built over these 30 years of television. I just don't, man. And I'm doing this absolutely free of charge because I want this country to be in her hands as opposed to Donald Trump's hands. That's
so okay. So he's doing it for free, but he's still admitting that he's doing something. What are you doing for free? Just offering her a free platform, or are you doing something else by providing your influence that you have from this audience? You know, people have these audiences and they don't realize the power that they have.
That's why I do it. Now, me and Ricky Smiley happen to be on the same page. Now, we Q's now, and so is D.L. Hughley. And Q's kind of run the airways of black radio.
Okay.
Is that an accident or is that purposeful? That's interesting because they all have these same type of morning shows. They're all comedians. Interesting.
Okay. All right.
That's- The Q's is running the airways of black radio.
All right, purple and gold.
Okay. But we also understand what's at stake here. So no, I haven't received a single dollar from anybody to do what I do. And I'm doing it gladly for free.
But you know, that might also account for the reasons that these views are so homogenous. Why is black or urban radio run by a very particular type of person? See, this is where we get into the place where there's no diversity of thought. If all these same people are running this, they come from the same fraternity, they come from the same profession, and they have the influence and they have the pulpit where politicians are going to come and have this discussion, why should they all have the same viewpoint? You know, and I think this is something the black community needs to straighten out because we're not getting the full story. We're getting a lot of demonization, you know, like in the case of Ricky Smiley. Like, why is he demonizing people who have differing opinions from him? You know what I'm saying? And this is where we get to the whole conversation about class within race, the intra-race discussion.
Gladly for free.
Yes.
And I'm going to freely have her single dollar from anybody to do what I do. And I'm doing it gladly for free.
Yes.
And I'm going to freely have her on here again and again and again. I am going to freely ask soft-ass questions. I am going to freely lob the basketball so she can slam dunk all these questions. Yes.
And that does nothing to help her as a candidate. That does nothing to help us really make an informed decision. If you're going to sit there and send her softball questions. If you're going to sit there and send Kamala softball questions, lobs so that she can dunk, it's almost like she's not able to play the game. Why do you feel she needs that unfair advantage? Is she qualified for the job or is she not? And that's part of the problem here. But going back to the whole fraternity question, you got these three figures that are D.L. Hughley, Ricky Smiley, and Steve Harvey that are part of Omega Psi Phi, and Kamala Harris is part of Alpha Kappa Alpha. So are we supposed to be dealing in this Greek relationship? Is this how our politics is moving now, where it's purely based in fraternities and sororities? Like, let us know, because I don't know if everybody agrees with that. So I just hope that people are allowed to make their decision without influence, without undue influence.
I'm going to freely sit here and agree. So the black vote is not for sale, but it is a very important block of votes that can control the outcome of this election. And if I have my way, if it is within God's will, she would be the next president of the United States, because the alternative, see, there's only two people running for president.
Yeah.
It's Kamala Harris, Madam Vice President Kamala Harris, or Donald Trump. That's the choice. Yeah. So I don't know. You know, and if somebody offered you 10, you should have took it. But anybody offered me nothing. But please don't insult me and offer me $10,000. Because I'm telling you right now, it cost way more for me to wake up and turn this mic on.
Oh, Steve,
way
we
more.
gotta get him. It's $10,000.
I can't even let that get out about me.
The amount of insulting to you. Wow.
That's just, I mean, really,
The
man.
brand.
And you know, look, man, they can take their campaign money and put it into other causes, like buying ads and stuff like that.
Yeah.
The ad I'm running right now, this is free.
That's right. It sounds like an ad paid for by Kamala for president.
Free. Please go vote for Kamala Harris. Do it for free.
Kamala Harris campaign ad right now. Please vote. The black vote is not for sale.
It is not.
Camera.
But it is a very, very viable force. It really is important. And that's why everybody wanted, man.
That's right.
And because let me tell you something, if you look at just look at the last presidential election, when it got down to Michigan, Wisconsin, It got down to Philadelphia. It got down to Georgia, Atlanta.
Exactly.
Yeah. Philly, Pennsylvania. All those, the Republicans were winning out in the suburbs. When they got to the inner cities where we heavily populate Atlanta, Philadelphia, Detroit, Milwaukee, that turned the election.
Yeah.
So why not ask for something in return? This is why we don't need entertainers in this position. We need to have our best minds on these jobs, because that point that he just pointed out, that fact that he just pointed out, that this came down to the black electorate making the decision between winner and loser, that is power. That is what you use to negotiate, to get things. Let me see if I can teach you this. This is political capital that we could use to then further things that would improve the black community. And this is what's frustrating about this whole thing. It's because you have people in the way that are not allowing even that. Even if you were to pick Kamala, even if you were, you would get something from her. And see, this is the problem. You would have a pledge. Now she goes in without any type of resistance, and you pushing her, and we're supposed to then, after the fact, ask for something. Well, that we know what happens then. You don't get anything. You don't get anything.
The same thing can happen this time, and they all know it. Why do you think Donald Trump, who don't give a damn about the National Association of Black Journalists, would even walk his ass out there? He was out there to try to make black people think that he's done more for black people than any president since Abraham Lincoln. But he can't name one thing he's done for black people. And then...
Yeah, he did. He's always talking about the fact that he funded the HBCUs, which, going back to the Greek letter organizations that were founded at some of these HBCUs, yeah, I think that's a lot. That's actually a lot. I'm not going to take that away from Donald Trump, and you shouldn't either, based on what your desire is for Kamala to be president.
Got mad at the black woman for asking him tough questions. Now,
and she didn't greet him. That was actually foul. I probably would have done the same thing, honestly. When that woman snapped on him at the NABJ, the fact that he was even there, you're right. He didn't have to be there. And that's part of what he was saying. He's like, I don't have to be here at all. The fact that I came here, I want to address some of the things that are going on in this community of black journalists, of the black population.
Anybody else that don't agree with that right there, I understand. But just show me what he's done for black people so I can understand. Because right now I don't.
All right. Go on and collect.
Kamala Harris for president. Thank you very much.
Well,
Amen.
what has Kamala done for black people? That's the better question. Why are you throwing your blind support behind this woman and she hasn't shown
this message?
She hasn't shown you anything but throwing black men in jail. That's what she's done for black people. I don't get it.
Amen.
This message.
God proved this message absolutely for free. If you try to offer me 10,000, I'm gonna quit talking to you.
So there we have it, man. I think it's interesting that Steve even took the time to respond to Dr. Umar, because Dr. Umar was forceful and he actually stated exactly what was going on. I think he couldn't avoid responding to him in some ways, because, you know, if he has a level of respect for Umar, it's worth bringing up. But I still don't think he answered the real questions that Umar was asking, because it has been proven, it actually has been proven that the Harris campaign is paying people to talk about them. In fact, this young lady right here on TikTok is very open about the fact that she's getting paid by the campaign.
In May, Future Forward, the super PAC supporting Harris, hosted panels like Gaming the Algorithm and how advocacy can benefit your business.
In the first 100 days of a Republican presidency under Trump, Project 2025 talks about sacking thousands of civil servants.
Last month, Sunay says she was hired by Protect Our Care, a progressive advocacy group that relies on anonymous donors. She made a video warning about Trump's second-term agenda.
They almost help you script it, right?
Right, definitely.
She takes their talking points and puts them into her own voice, saying she always discloses when she's being paid.
What's your rate?
So a video just for a creator in my size, an average can go from $3,000 to $10,000 depending, and upwards.
So now Umar doesn't sound so crazy. From $3,000 to $10,000 and upwards is what this young lady is saying that she's getting to spread this message, to basically have them script her content. That's a little disturbing, the manipulation, because you see this young lady and you don't think immediately that she's a paid shill for a party. And they picked her on purpose for that reason, so that it doesn't seem like an ad. It's manipulation. And the fact that, you know, Steve Harvey says he'll be manipulated for free, well, you know, is that any better? That he's willing to be manipulated? I just don't know how people are so like gung-ho and sure about this, so much so that they're willing to put their careers and reputations on the line for Kamala Harris. Because there's a reason that people are opposed to a Harris presidency. And if you all have advocated and advocated and advocated, what are you going to say when maybe things don't work out the way you thought they were? Are you going to sit with that? Or because I would say the people that were so gung-ho about Biden kind of got us to the position that we're in right now. And are they standing up now and taking responsibility for where the United States is? Or are they in denial? Or are they listening to the manipulation of people like this young lady and, you know, Steve Harvey and Ricky Smiley and D.L. Hughley? It's worth questioning. These are the culprits. It seems like they use outside people to basically not say that they're paying directly, but they're definitely paying. Some of these organizations might be reaching out to Dr. Umar. They might be reaching out to this young lady who's an influencer on TikTok. But they are indeed paying. So let's put that to bed. Let's stop saying that people are crazy for saying that, you know, there's an idea that they're being offered money, or that Kai Cenat is being contacted by the campaign or the Secret Service, you know, because like I said, Kai Cenat's a young dude. Like, it's probably his worst nightmare to be approached politically by the Secret Service or somebody asking him for his endorsement, and he's just trying to run live streams and, you know, whatever weird stuff they're doing over there on that channel. But either way, yeah, I thought it was interesting. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe. Hit the bell notification for all uploads. Make sure you sign up for the newsletter. The link is in the description. That way you can stay up to date on all things Faucette Media. Very important. Please do that. This is Faucette Media.